Viewers are invited first. Drop your location and local time in the comments. It's always wild seeing this community stretch across the map, like a constellation made out of stories instead of stars. And while you're doing that, settle in, because this one unfolds in a quiet Texas neighborhood where good intentions turn sour faster than milk left in the sun. For years, Michael Hansen carries the reputation of being the go-to guy in Maple Oaks, a place where neighbors wave from porches and the HOA thinks of itself as both referee and monarch. He's the one people call when the clubhouse Wi-Fi sputters, or when a storm knocks out the cameras, or even when someone can't figure out how to make a printer stop blinking. He doesn't complain, he just fixes it, because deep down it feels good to be needed. Historians still argue whether the first neighborhood associations were really about protecting property values or about creating miniature fiefdoms, but either way, Michael sees his time there like a small investment in community peace. At first, pies and barbecues are his reward, until one name, Karen Fletcher, the HOA president, learns she can dress orders up as emergencies and he'll still come running. Michael, the audio system's dead, book club starts in an hour, she'll say, and suddenly his own dinner goes cold. A ride to the city council meeting? No problem, even if his own family waits at home. The subtlety is what stings. Every request is a demand in disguise. Every refusal greeted with a smile sharp enough to slice glass. Then comes the Tuesday night call. He's mid-dinner with his wife and kids when Karen doesn't even bother with hello. The projector's misaligned, fix it by tomorrow. When he finally pushes back, tells her he's buried under deadlines, she slams down the line after appointed. You've forgotten who always went to bat for you. He sits there, fork hanging in midair, wondering when being a neighbor became being an indentured servant. 3 days later, the first letter arrives. Trash bin at the curb too early. He almost laughs, because everyone knows that's just a guideline in the handbook, not a law. But this isn't about trash, it's a shot across the bow. Another week, another letter. The curtain in his garage doesn't match the neighborhood aesthetic. He files it carefully, blood pressure rising with each paper cut. Soon he's accused of blasting music after midnight. Except his server logs prove his house never exceeded ordinary noise. Then it's unauthorized construction, which in reality is just a shelf holding rakes. It's like being ticketed for owning a spoon. Michael stops playing defense. He wires new cameras on power over Ethernet, builds a system like Fort Knox, timestamps hashed with SHA 256, mirrored to encrypted cloud storage. Each letter scanned, each phone call logged. He starts labeling the folders Karen's greatest hits, with the dry humor of someone who knows he'll need this archive. By Saturday morning, Maple Oaks is its usual calm. Coffee steam rising from mugs, dog walkers looping sidewalks, kids wobbling on bikes. When Michael steps outside and sees it, his beloved silver sedan dented deep across the rear bumper, scraped down to metal, the panel folded like cheap foil. His breath catches, because standing right there in her SUV, fender crumpled, headlight cracked, streaks of silver paint like guilty fingerprints, is Karen Fletcher. And she doesn't look guilty. She looks annoyed, as though his car had dared inconvenience her. She rolls down her window before he can even speak, her tone sharp as broken glass. You backed out without looking and hit me. The absurdity nearly makes him laugh. His sedan hasn't moved since 9:43 the night before, a fact confirmed not just by his memory, but by cameras, logs, and even his wife, who'd been sitting by the window. But Karen's already dialing, pacing tight circles, telling 911 she's been struck by his reckless reversing. Enter Linda Parker, her loyal coffee buddy, suddenly appearing like a stage extra late for her cue. She announces loudly for anyone within earshot, I saw the whole thing. You pulled out too fast. Michael looks from one to the other, then down to the still-parked car, and it hits him. This isn't a misunderstanding, it's a setup. He pulls out his phone, documenting every angle, the distance from his tires to the garage, the silver paint smeared on Karen's fender, the absence of tire marks. He crouches low, capturing the light conditions, because someday, when this circus makes it to the insurance stage, these details will matter. Historians still argue whether ancient trial by ordeal was justice or spectacle. This feels like both. The police arrive, weary eyes that have seen every flavor of neighbor feud. Karen spins her tale with hand gestures worthy of a courtroom drama. Linda nodding like a bobblehead. When officers inspect the cars, one even notes the bumper damage looks dead center, consistent with a stationary impact. Karen jumps in, claiming maybe the angle explains it, but her words ring hollow. In the end, the officers say what he expects. They'll file a report, insurance will sort it. Karen smirks as if she's secured victory. Back inside, Michael acts like a man folding laundry, calm and steady. But in truth, he's already working the angles of his own chessboard. He exports the camera footage, hashes and duplicates it, fires off preservation letters warning them not to alter evidence, and notifies his insurer before Karen can even craft her narrative. By Monday, whispers buzz through Maple Oaks like mosquitoes. A neighborhood group chat posts vague warnings about driveway accidents. The HOA newsletter calls for responsible driving, without naming names. Everyone knows who they mean. But Michael plays it cool, files formal requests for all records mentioning him, citing Texas Property Code Chapter 209. Metadata reveals Karen authored the newsletter herself at 11:47 p.m., just hours after police left. He tucks this proof neatly into his Karen Originals folder. Her insurance sends him a letter dressed in concern, inviting him to accept liability. He forwards it straight to his insurer, already planning to hire an accident reconstructionist. His agent chuckles, "You're playing chess, not checkers." Meanwhile, Karen doubles down. A committee agenda suddenly proposes suspending Michael from the beautification committee. That night, he strolls around his property, ensuring every hidden camera hums in sync, the wide angle in the mailbox, the soffit cam above the garage, all silent witnesses. Days later, footage shows Karen creeping past in her SUV, craning at his bumper. Then 2 nights after that, she's on foot, crouching at the car, whispering, "If we can show it got worse." It's like catching a magician mid-trick. Michael files an addendum to the police report, includes still frames, timestamps, and requests preservation of her phone data. His reconstructionist inspects the dents, confirms off the record this is textbook stationary impact. Michael doesn't reveal that card yet, because overconfidence is a spotlight, and Karen is basking in it. He keeps waving at neighbors, keeps every flower bed neat, because patience, he knows, is the sharpest weapon. The summons arrives with the subtlety of a brick, a special HOA meeting where safety concerns will be addressed, law enforcement present for good measure. Karen plans a public execution of reputation, but Michael shows up early, calm as someone setting up a picnic. The room smells of coffee and bleach, folding chairs lined like soldiers. Karen wears a blazer as though Congress called. Linda clutches a folder with death row solemnity. She calls order at 7 sharp, launches into her tale like she's auditioning for a soap opera. Michael's reckless reverse, her traumatized near-death, the damage to her precious SUV. Linda chimes in, voice quavering with rehearsed sincerity, confirming the fiction. Karen prods the police liaison for sound bites about danger, but he stays neutral. Then she unveils the move she's been salivating over. "I motion that Michael Hansen be removed from the beautification committee." Some hands rise, others hesitate, tension crackles. Then Karen, smug smile locked in place, invites Michael to respond. He doesn't rush. He sets his laptop down, plugs into the projector, asks politely for permission. The screen flickers, time-stamped footage from the soffit cam. His sedan sits still, Karen's SUV edges forward, back straight into it. Crunch, impact loud enough to silence the room. Gasps ripple, Karen's face drains. He plays it twice, zooms in on her calling 911. Then comes clip 2, mailbox cam, her SUV creeping, her lips moving. If we can show it got worse. Finally, clip 3, Karen crouching at his bumper in the dark, phone in hand, submitting updated photos. The silence is thick as wet cement. The officer clears his throat, asks for the raw files as part of an investigation. Neighbors shift in their seats, eyes no longer avoiding Michael. They're avoiding her. The meeting unravels. Karen mutters about privacy violations, but nobody's buying it. The tide turns overnight. By Friday, her email blast tries to spin the story into a rant about surveillance and trust. Michael forwards it to his lawyer, who replies with bylaws and state statutes proving every camera legal. His insurer calls soon after. Her claim denied, a counterclaim opened, her coverage in jeopardy. The police dig deeper, fraud detectives pull her phone records, timestamps aligning with his footage. Charges are filed: false report, attempted insurance fraud, conspiracy. Maple Oaks watches as Karen is arrested one crisp Saturday morning. Neighbors pausing hedge clippers midair while cruisers idle out front. Linda, offered a deal, folds quickly. Karen, once the iron-fisted HOA queen, is escorted in cuffs, coffee mug abandoned on her porch. In court, the evidence stacks like bricks: videos, phone data, even Linda's testimony. Karen takes a plea: probation, fines, restitution, and a ban from HOA leadership. The board removes her, new members step in, and for the first time in months, Michael feels air return to his lungs. An apology letter arrives from the HOA, stiff and lawyer-crafted, but still sweet. He frames it in his garage above the workbench. Life in Maple Oaks smooths out, complaints dry up, whispers fade. He upgrades his cameras anyway, half joke, half precaution, engraving a small aluminum sign on his garage: "Smile, Karen. You're always on camera." Neighbors chuckle, but those who know the story smile differently, like witnesses to a parable. And sometimes, when a new resident moves in and hears fragments of the saga, they glance at Michael with that curious respect, slowly realizing what Maple Oaks has already learned. Here, the cameras don't just watch, they remember. The story winds down like dusk settling over rooftops, light fading into long shadows, conversations softening on porches. The chaos, the plotting, the accusations, they feel far away now, like a storm that once threatened to level the town but passed, leaving clear skies. Michael's world, though scarred, has steadied again, the rhythm of daily life restored, the comfort of simple mornings drinking coffee without waiting for the next letter or scheme. It's almost poetic, how peace tastes sweeter after you've swallowed bitterness, how community feels warmer after betrayal has been burned out by truth. The neighborhood hums with normalcy, kids laugh, dogs bark, lawns are trimmed, and beneath it all lies a quiet current of relief, like the air after rain. And maybe, just maybe, when the cicadas buzz and the street lamps glow, someone will remember the night a projector played back truth in high definition, and how one patient man turned a frame job into a frame of justice, etched forever into Maple Oaks memory. Sleep easy now, because in this place, the cameras keep watch, the story has ended, and the night holds nothing but rest.